Pittman and Friends podcast. I'm here today with my friend, Karrisa Kelly from the Department of Aging and Disabilities. Welcome.
Hello, and thank you for having me here today.
Folks, Karrisa is one of my favorites. I know I say that probably more often than I should, but in terms of competence and doing amazing work and stepping up in a crisis, Karrisa has been a hero in Anne Arundel County, and a lot of folks, older folks particularly, and folks with disabilities know that. But why don't you start out just telling us what the department does?
Sure. So the Department of Aging and Disabilities for Anne Arundel County, we serve older adults, we serve individuals with disabilities, we serve family caregivers, we now serve veterans, and really anyone interested in planning for their future, and that's pretty much all residents. So we would rather serve you in a proactive way and get you prepared for the continuum of aging.
So when you say you serve them, I think some people have driven by and are aware that we have senior centers. Why don't you start there, and then maybe just some of the other services you do?
Sure. So we have 25 programs actually in the county in 22 locations. So our senior activity centers, there's 8 in network. They are 1 out of 25 programs that we offer the residents of our county.
That's just one program.
Visible.
Wow.
Yes.
And maybe the most expensive in terms of the capital budget. Yeah.
Sure. And, you know, I really, this administration, the Pittman administration has made a true investment in our senior activity centers, starting with our Severn Intergenerational Center. Building that created such a unique opportunity.
Can you name them all?
Yes.
You can? I'm not sure if I can. Don't test me, but I'll test you.
Okay.
Tell the name and the part of the county.
Sure. So they're pretty much named for the part of the county in which they are. But we have this Severn Intergenerational Center, which is by Van Bachlen Elementary, Mead Village area.
Brand spanking new at the Severn Center with a pool table, 2 pool tables, right?
Or is it one pool? And a gym.
Yeah. Folks play pool there. That's fun. Yeah.
Yes, and they play pickleball.
And pickleball.
Yes.
Oh, right. At the
so
gym.
that's unique to that center is they're able to play pickleball, and that's a very, very big deal there.
Okay. So that's the newest one, and then what are the others?
We have the Arnold Senior Activities Center, which you know is a capital project. It's going to receive a renovation and 2,000 square foot expansion.
Somebody was asking me if I was going to be at the ribbon cutting just this weekend.
Yes, yes. So that is due to open July of 2026. That center has been temporarily housed at Anne Arundel Community College, which is great because every senior center participates in community college classes and lifelong learning.
Yeah.
So that's definitely an exciting thing to open up that center that's been closed. We have the O'Malley Senior Activity Center. That is in the western part of the county. We have Annapolis Senior Activity Center, South County Senior Activity Center, which was another 2,000 square foot renovation and expansion. Thank you.
Love that one. I'm old enough to attend now. It's near where I live.
Yes, wonderful. The Pasadena Senior Activity Center, located in Lakeshore Plaza. We also have our Brooklyn Park Senior Activity Center on Hammonds Lane. And then we have our Pascal Senior Activity Center that's located in Glen Burnie. And what's, I guess, important to note is that once you are a member of one, you are a member of all of them. So no matter where you are in the county, if you see something that's offered at one of our senior centers, feel free to attend.
How much does it cost to be a member?
It's free.
All right.
So, yes, it's a great place for seniors to go. Every center is really mirroring its community, whether you participate in a yoga class. We have free fitness rooms with state-of-the-art equipment. We have painting, community college classes, and the list really goes on and on.
Wow, yeah. And I've got to say, when you walk into any of these senior centers, they're the regulars, and then there are the people who come for certain events, and there's the staff, and there are the meals. And I get to come during the holidays because you always have these holiday events. And I just got to say, they're just really warm, loving places that are so important. We'll get into some of the other programs, but how are we doing on our senior population? Growing?
We are definitely growing, and that is not just Anne Arundel County specific, but it's a national trend, and that older adults are outpacing school-age children.
Wow.
Just in Anne Arundel County, our expected and projected growth, referencing the Maryland State Plan on Aging, is we are expected to have a 27% increase of individuals that are 60 and older by 2045.
27%, wow.
That's huge for our county of 600,000 residents. That's huge.
Yeah. Okay. So that is probably why when I decided that I was going to run, or I was questioning whether I should run for county executive, I sat down with former county executive Janet Owens, and when she realized I was serious about this, the last thing she said to me was, make me one promise. Don't forget about the Department of Aging and Disabilities. You have to support their work.
Thank you. And that has definitely happened, not just within our senior activity centers, but programs wide.
Good advice. Hey, let's back up a second and go to you. How did you end up doing this kind of work? What got you where you are?
So I'm proud to tell the story because I think it's really important to note that not everybody gets to decide early on in life what they would like to spend their investment and time doing and sharing their passion. But I've been in the aging and disabilities field for 32 years.
32 years.
I have started in this career path.
We won't ask how old you are, but you don't look like you're a whole lot older than that.
Thank you. I started in this career path when I was 17 years old.
Oh, now we can do the math, but I won't.
Oh, yeah. Working at a home-based service for individuals with Alzheimer's or a dementia. Just providing boots on the ground care and services.
So you were in high school at the time then?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
And just assisting the individuals. And then, across...
and did you think at that time that you might make a career of this?
I absolutely did. So there was a specific thing that happened where I had the opportunity at 17 to advocate for the residents' rights by contacting our local ombudsman program, knowing that something just wasn't quite right.
So you were a whistleblower in the place you worked?
I was a whistleblower at age 17 where I worked, and I knew if I had enough ability to advocate for older adults in that way, that education, experience, and really, getting to know the field, I could be a really great advocate. And now I've worked across the state of Ohio, Virginia, and now Maryland in all aspects of aging services, from schools to residential facilities to day programs and, now county government.
Wow. So it wasn't your own family that got you hooked on this, or was there some of that too?
No, I wouldn't say it was my own family. I didn't have the opportunity to know my paternal grandparents. I just had my one grandmother on my mother's side. But really, in looking at just caregiving across the board, because we all have an opportunity once in our lives to be caregivers.
Right. Well, okay. So obviously there was something about this work that moved you and kept you doing it all of these years.
Yes.
So we got the senior centers. We've got the population growth. You have transportation. You do some housing. You do some healthcare work. What else do you do?
So, and I would back up just to talk about how our community accesses us.
Okay.
So, we have 2 customer service locations in the county in addition to the senior activity centers. Mm-hmm. So we have one in Glen Burnie and one in Annapolis. And you can not know about any of our programs, but know you have a need. And you can come in, you can call, you can schedule an appointment. It's not going to be something that you have to sit there all day and plan to do in order to get a service or a resource. Right. My team knows that given the population that we serve, we need to be the easiest part of a person's day. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we are. So though I won't be able to go through the other 24 programs, but I think, there sometimes is an association with aging services that it's income or asset based, and that couldn't be more untrue. Programs that we have, such as evidence-based health promotion classes, where we do things like diabetes prevention, with 6-week classes for, the general community at large. We do falls prevention, things like that. As you've mentioned, we augment the Office of Transportation through our own transportation services. We have our Easy Travel Access program, which is a door-to-door service. So it's kind of more of a niche service for people that have a higher mobility need in order to access things in the community.
So that helps people get to medical appointments? Is that true?
Yeah, and we actually travel 20 miles outside of the county through that transportation option, so it really is an important service.
Wow. Wow. And you feed people too, right?
Yes, that's a huge program. So we have 22 nutrition sites throughout the county. So, of course, 8 are our senior activity centers where you can come and get a hot meal. Sometimes we offer special meals, and that's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. But the other nutrition sites are throughout the county in senior congregate buildings and high-rise apartments.
And I've heard you talk about caregivers, the people in families. I know we were in an event together that was about caregivers in particular, and I think there's been some legislation at least proposed. What's going on with that? How do you serve the families that are giving the care?
So caregiver program, and I have to talk about Mary Chabot from my team. She is the subject matter expert on family caregiving and has really grown that program to include so many different supports and resources for caregivers. So we have support groups. Almost half of all Maryland caregivers are also full-time employees and caring for children. So that sandwich generation, and that's a huge job.
Yeah.
Just think of the in-kind, money saved from a family caregiver. So we offer them education and training. We offer them support groups, hidden heroes. Those are for our veteran family caregivers. I think that you had just mentioned we had went to an event for.
Yeah. In fact, I remember your parents were there, right?
They were.
Yeah.
They were because my before he passed, my mother was a caregiver to my father for quite some time.
So that's why they were there.
And he was a veteran that served our country in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
But we offer caregiver grants, and these are no red tape. They're one piece of paper. You literally fill it out if you're caring for a loved one or if you are an older adult caring for grandchildren. And it's roughly about $500 per grandchild, and it's $500 for your loved one. We don't make you report back on how you spend it, and these funds come from federal dollars.
I was going to ask you where they came from.
Yeah.
So you do administer a lot of federal and state programs as well as whatever we can do from the county, yes?
Yes, through the Older Americans Act. So a lot of our programs come from Older Americans Act funding, state funding, local funding, but we also have private sector partnerships in the community. We are in agreement with the area hospitals in order to provide a service to community members and to the hospitals for people that are high utilizers of either the emergency room department or calls to the fire department for 911. So we do have 2 different programs that focus on wrapping social and clinical services around the individual to make them more successful in the community and less dependent on those emergent systems of care. So really 2 great programs there.
Yeah. And what about housing? I mean, it's obviously a big challenge for the people you serve. Do you do anything?
Right. So as far as for housing, right now, which will be changing soon, we monitor the 4 to 16 bed small community-based assisted livings within the county.
Oh, right. I remember. Yeah, I remember during COVID you had some situations that you really had to keep on top of.
Yeah. And
back to your whistleblower days, huh?
Right. So, but now we are moving that model more to a case management structure, so making it more person-centered on the people living inside the homes and less about the facility at large. But that's a future change that we'll see in the next year down the line throughout the state of Maryland.
Okay. So at the state level, I know you've talked about some programs that they have. Longevity Ready. Does that?
Yes.
Did I just pick that out of thin air and get it wrong?
No, you did it. You got it right.
Okay, I got it right.
See, we had talked about the population growth in our county, but what I didn't mention is people are living longer and healthier lives.
Yeah.
They're living a lifespan of over 100, which is great news for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to live well for as long as possible. So the state has a 10-year multi-sector plan on aging called Longevity Ready Maryland. You are correct. Okay. And basically, again, planning for a lifespan of services, but working with our partners in the community like the Department of Health and Workforce Development development, and transportation. How do we make an inclusive, longevity-ready community? And so the state has their 4 EPIC goals, and this is on their website. The first would be building a longevity-ready ecosystem. So having an inclusive environment that recognizes the contributions of older adults, promoting economic opportunity for older adults. So if I'm living to 100, do I want to quit working at 50, 60? No, probably not. And do I, as an employer, want to lose that institutional wisdom and knowledge of an older adult? Absolutely not. So just being a little bit more thoughtful about how we employ older adults, in our community.
I will say that in the county it's been, people are working longer and it's great. We also have a lot of boards and commissions of people serving using the knowledge that they have that have a lot of older people in them, and that's been really valuable. I mean, they're giving back.
Absolutely. And then the 2, remaining goals are affording longevity. So,
do you help people with financial planning and figuring out how they're going to?
Yeah, so, financial planning is not innate to us, but we help equip them with the resources that they can do things like financial planning.
Yeah.
So,
one of the coolest things that you do that I get to go to every year is during Older Americans Month, you celebrate. And I think you moved to Pip-Moyer, is that right, in Annapolis?
We had to move somewhere.
Because you got so big?
It was, in the early days, there were maybe 300, 400 people at best that attended, and last year's event garnered upwards of 800 residents. That's a huge showing.
Yeah, it was. And you had live music, and people were dancing.
And no, I was dancing. Yeah.
You were dancing.
Yes. I always try to really, put myself in the mix and enjoy myself, because, again, going back to why I'm in this field, you have to remember why, and I really enjoy that event. So May is Older Americans Month. Celebrated every day, but annually at this event. And this year's theme is championing your health. So, the 4th goal in Longevity Ready is optimizing your health and wellness, being an advocate for your health. So we'll have the event, save the date, is May 27th from 11 to 2 at the Pitt-Moyer Rec Center in Annapolis. We will have wonderful food, entertainment. All of our county partners come out and set up tables to have a resource event, which I love the partnership there. So it should be a really good time.
So what would you say to folks out there that are at home, maybe lonely, getting older, and just need to get out and improve the quality of life? What can how do they find you?
So you can call the 410-222-4257 number, or just drop by one of our customer service locations, again, at 7320 Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie, and our southern location is in Annapolis at 2666 Riva Road. Just come in and say hello. You don't even have to be sure of what you want or need, but we can talk to you about senior centers. If that's not your excitement, we can talk to you about recreation and parks and libraries and the wonderful other things that our county has dedicated to older adults and people with disabilities.
And you have volunteer groups, right, in each of the senior centers?
Yes.
How is that structured? How do people get involved in that?
We have wonderful volunteer groups in every arena of business at the Department of Aging and Disabilities. So we do have volunteers that go into our senior centers, and really they help make that center work with minimal staff. We have volunteers. I call them the rocket scientists of Medicare. They come in and offer benefits counseling for Medicare to our 86,000 Medicare beneficiaries in the county, and 3,000 new to Medicare each year. That's a wonderful team.
Yeah.
We have ombudsman volunteers that go into nursing home and advocate for older adults. We have volunteers that make phone calls to homebound older adults to do well checks, and the list keeps going on.
That was amazing during COVID.
Yes.
When folks were really isolated.
Yes.
And you just checked up on them. You had a whole team of people calling constantly, didn't you?
Yes. Every one of our staff pivoted. We offered food distribution sites. We assisted the Warm Line to set up people's vaccinations to the tune of 17,000 with my tiny but mighty team, who I'm definitely going to shamelessly plug here. I have a wonderful team. These people do work with their hearts, and they make the magic happen for our residents. So thank you, team.
Yeah, and many of them have been doing this work for a while.
Yes.
Because I guess they're like you. They're committed to it.
We have lifers, we have lifers because people really love what they're doing, and that makes all the difference in the service that our residents receive.
Yeah. And I should also say that not just COVID, but every time we have a major emergency operations event, our EOC is open, whether it's a snowstorm or whatever it is, y'all are there, and during those regular meetings that happen every few hours where all the agencies, you're reporting on the folks that you know need to get to. I mean, you literally had firefighters that you had convinced to go out there and shovel the ice or, pick the ice off of people's walks so they could get to doctor's appointments, right?
Yes. Yes. And we have a great emergency operations department in this county who are just diligent more than anyone will ever know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is the thing. And I got to say, that's the thing that when I came into government, which I was an outsider when I came into this job, and so I got stuck in at the top, with maybe a bit of an attitude. I didn't really think that government folks were doing the best work. You hear all these things about government and how inefficient it is and how, people are just there for a paycheck and all that. Man, go into the Department of Aid. Go into a lot of our departments, and the passion and the talent is just extraordinary. And it's not like your folks are getting paid a whole lot of money to do the work either. They could probably go make more money elsewhere. I shouldn't say that. They could not. But so really just thank you. And please thank all of them.
Absolutely.
And when people want to reach you online, where do they go?
aacounty.org/DOAD.
All right. Or I guess you can just Google, right? Anne Arundel County, Aging Disabilities.
That would probably be the easiest.
And the phone number, again, for people who don't use computers,
is 410-222-4257.
Excellent. Well, you get the last word.
Oh, thank you. You are listening to Pittman and Friends podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button, share with a friend, and join us for the next episode.
Thank you so much for what you do.